Hi friends, welcome back to the Couch Crocheter. We're at episode 114. August slippers are all done, and let me tell you, this is also in the top 3 running of my favorite slippers that I've made so far. Hi friends, how you doing? So I wanted to stop up today. Me and Honey are just sitting up here relaxing, getting out of the heat because it is 94 degrees outside without the humidity, which makes it feel like, I don't know, 112, 120. It's a hot one. And I think it's supposed to be a hot one for the next couple days, too. So I wanted to go over with you guys the slippers that I made for August. And I'm just now noticing that I was so excited that I did not even tuck in my ends yet. I have the needle here to do it, though. That's a step in the right direction. So I wanted to go over these with you. Okay, so let me start from the beginning in case you guys don't know. Every month I am featuring or showing a pair of slippers that's a new pattern to me. I am doing this because, long story short, my Aunt Sandy's husband, which was my Uncle Bob, his sister, used to crochet and crocheted her slippers. So she showed me them a long time ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, Aunt Sandy, like, I don't think I can duplicate these, like, and I don't want to, take them apart and try to dissect it and then not be able to put it back together. Or, it was just, I did not want to mess with them whatsoever. And that's a memory that she has with her. So I'm on a quest to find slippers that my Aunt Sandy loves as much as I do. And so far, I think her favorite ones are the ones that I made in January, which is funny enough. Oh, and hi, Aunt Sandy. How you doing? So I made up a playlist of slippers. And then as I went through them, I kind of noticed that they're kind of the same slipper. You make a magic ring, you crochet X amount in them, and then you do the toe, and then, drop stitches off and do the heel, and then sew it up the back, and then do a cuff, or don't do a cuff, or I just find like the ones that I chose were kind of a little repetitive. So I went rogue with this pattern, and I think I already saw another pattern on Yarn Inspirations of slippers that I want to do next. But this pattern I found when I was doing the other project that I started and I'm just about done with. I found on here as well. So they are called Bernat Crocheted Slipper Socks. You are supposed to use a super bulky number 6, and I did. And the one that I chose was Nicole's Stitch Studio Heartful Heritage. It's a super bulky number 6. Recommended hook and needle size is a 13 or 9 millimeter. They are 100% acrylic. Approximately 82 yards, 75 meters, 142 grams or 5 ounces. Machine wash, tumble low, gentle. This color is called Firewood, and it is made in China. So there's that one. And the other color that I chose is the exact same yarn, but this one is called Clover Green. Now I have another skein here, so I'll just show you that one because I don't have much of the Clover Green. And let me tell you why I have more brown left than I do Clover Green. So, as you guys know, I do consider myself a beginner crocheter still. And I am very, very much still learning how to read patterns. I am not 100% comfortable with most of the patterns that I read. So right off the bat, and I noticed this when I got done with both of them, and I looked how much I had yarn left. I'm like, why do I have so much more brown out of the second skein or the first skein that I used, and not so much more green? From what I understand, the pattern says it should be 2 balls of each. Well, these are the second ones, but I have a lot more of this one than I have this one. Because they're using clay and faded denim. For a small, you'll need 2 balls each. And for a large, you'll still need 2 balls each. I made the large. I did not make the small. So as I, you know, finished them, and I was so proud, and I tried them on, I'm like, oh my God, I love them. And I went back and scrolled up to the top of the pattern and was looking at the picture and was comparing, and I'm like, wow, I'm like, that sole really sticks out a little further than mine does on the bottom. Mine kind of concaves. So I read underneath where it says instructions sole. And here's where I went wrong, guys. And here's where I should have used up more brown. So, oh, let me tell you where I messed up first. With a smaller hook and 2 strands of color B held together, chain X amount, see diagram on page 3. Did I not read that? Did I not understand English? Like, I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I don't know how I missed. I got with the smaller hook, I got how many I'm supposed to chain in my, you know, orange yellow color instead of the red for a small. Like, I got all that. How I missed 2 strands together, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So I do still love them, but I think I'm going to do them again. I'm not ripping these out by any means. I'm definitely keeping these ones. If no one else claims them, you know, I'll put them up in the craft shows and whatnot, but just for my little perfectionist inside of me, I need to redo them and do the correct sole, because everything else is so plush and so thick and so like comfy feeling. And then you get to the sole and you're like, sole, there's no like, there's no little fluff. I need a little fluff. Give me some fluff. Oh, and then let me tell you about the second mistake that I made. So the last time you saw these, they just had the sole and they had this part right here. And I do believe that they had the first row of the brown done. I think the first time I showcased these, which might have been 2 videos ago. With the, yeah, UFO Friday. Unfinished, yeah, UFO Friday. So 2 videos ago. So last Friday, I showcased these. And, you know, I should have noticed then. And I don't know why I didn't. I definitely should have noticed then. Well, in my defense, it's the very last thing to read on the card, you know, before it goes to page 2. I don't know. I should have noticed then, but I didn't. So yeah, let me tell you, that's what I was saying. The last time I met, or the time that I messed up. Okay, so back here, if you do it correctly and go actually into the chain, let me see if I can explain this. So you have to, you know, end with a slip stitch and then chain 1, but you slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 from the beginning of the round, which does count as a double crochet. That was perfect. So instead, I didn't realize that it was climbing sideways. And I didn't realize until I got to like the 3rd row that something wasn't right. Because I thought, okay, well, maybe one's set this way, maybe one's set that way, you know, in the rows here. I was thinking, because there's this part where you crochet 3 together to make this like very pretty, and I hope you can see the detail, very pretty like shell pattern here. So I thought, okay, well, it's going to offset this way 1, and then the 2nd row of it, it'll offset this way, and then this way, and then this way, and that's how it'll bind. But once I got done the 3rd row, and I stepped back, and I'm like, oh, no, this looks like, I don't even know, a football. It looked like a football. And I put it on my foot, and I was like, oh, no, something's not right. So I showed Honey, and he's like, yeah, honey, that's fine. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, you would tell me it was fine. I'm like, it's wrong. So I tore it out. No, actually, I didn't tear it out at first. I started on the 2nd one and read the pattern again and realized that the first round that I kept, since the first round, I kept climbing this way. Now my seam is straight up the back. So then when I got to go to this part, I thought, oh my goodness, like it's going to be so offset that this never lined up. So then I put that one down and I was like, all right, I'm just going to start on the second one. And then I figured it out. I figured out that it was climbing in the back, because I'm actually glad I didn't rip out the first one, because then I had something to compare it to, because that was what not to do and what to do. You know what I mean? So I felt like maybe if I didn't have this reference and I didn't go back and, you know, unwind it all and actually watched what happened here, and I was like, oh my God, like I'm moving over one stitch every time. And I didn't even realize that I was doing it. I didn't even realize what I was doing. And so then when I finished this one, I was like, oh my gosh, that looks so much better. And it finally worked out. And then I had to rip all this one out and start from scratch. I went down to the base layer of the first brown and started the crochet in 3 together. And then I realized, you know, that all I had to do was count, divide it. And then I knew, even though it tells you, but like my mind had to do that in order then to be like, okay, this is perfectly centered then. Because I'm like, okay, these 3 minus these 3, that'll be there, that'll be here, that'll be there. Okay. Just to make sure that it was lining up from here where the 3 start to crochet 3 together and here. Like that lines up perfectly. Before it was like up here and down here. And I'm like, no. And I believe, guys, that these 2 colors look amazing together. I kind of like it even more than the denim brown and the tannish that they chose in the original. So now I'll go over with the hooks, because they do ask you to use 2 different hooks. The base of, wait, is this the right one? Yep. Because I had 3 hooks in there. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So the base, the switch over, and the whole entire foot part is done with a K or 6.5 millimeter. And then the cuff part, and that's, you know, pretty basic, you know, 1 in and 1 out double crochet all the way around, you know, to make the cuff. And that one they wanted an L for, or US 8 millimeter. So you did need to have 2 different size hooks for this. But guys, these are definitely, I believe, in the top 3 of my favorite slippers that I've made so far. I love this pattern. And I cannot wait to, I don't know if I'm going to use the same yarn as this and just have 2 of the same kind, or maybe offset them. Or if I'm going to go with something totally off the wall. I don't know yet. But I think I'm going to do these again. And I'm going to make the soles as they should be. Because it's just not as fluffy as the rest of the slipper. So guys, that's all I have for August slippers. Oh, and you know what? I'm not even sure of the yardage that I used, because they say, we'll see, I don't know what size yarn that they, oh, okay, 416.32. So it should be 432 yards total to do it. And they wanted Bernat softy chunky. But because I made the mistake with the brown, I did not, I didn't meet that yardage. So I'm going to say it's probably less 100 yards. So we'll just say 330 yards. That I used, because this is 80, what did I say, 82 yards? I don't know, we'll just say 100 less. So I have to write that in my book for the actual yardage for that. So I am going to finish today's off with a reading from Melody B-Tie, Journey to the Heart, Daily Meditations on the Path of Freeing Your Soul. And I do believe we are on February 23rd. Let power come gently. Let your powers emerge gradually, gently. Go gently on your path and look around. See what you have learned to define as power. See with the eyes of your heart. You used to think you were You were powerful when you resist your emotions or when you hold back and didn't express yourself. You thought power came from being who you thought you should be instead of who you really are. Now you have learned that only when you are who you really are can true power emerge. The powers you've discovered are many. Your power to be decent, loving, and kind. Your power to heal, to be gentle, to comfort others. Your power to see and know the truth, and at times to see more than you can see with your eyes. Your power to take your place in the dance of universal love and let the universe dance for you. These powers have been gifts. You've seen them. You've understood them. You know you're real. You know they're real. The choice to embrace and use them is yours. Alrighty, friends, that's all I have for today's video. Thank you so much for stopping by. Have a great morning. Be safe and stay groovy. Bye.